What's going on, guys, and welcome to my audio review for Friday Night SmackDown for April 16, 2021. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews. Hope you guys are doing well. And to answer the million-dollar question right off the bat, was this a post-WrestleMania worthy edition of SmackDown? And the answer is a resounding no, it was not. I thought it was a good show. I thought it was a solid show. There were several aspects of the show that I enjoyed. Would you have known this was the week after WrestleMania, though? No, you would not have. A lot like Raw, this episode lacked real surprises, developments. I was half expecting an Aleister Black vignette just because I've heard talk of them reintroducing him. There would have been no better time to do that than now. And they didn't do that. Maybe they're saving it for another week. I know he posted a teaser on his Instagram either on Thursday or Friday or whatever. But we didn't see Aleister Black either. So it is what it is. I thought, again, it was a good show. And it's not even that, like, oh, you're expecting too much, that's what fans do, ha ha ha. Like, no, this company has outright said that they put up a fucking playlist on their YouTube channel a couple of days ago saying, like, oh, you're all the biggest moments from the post-WrestleMania Raw, blah, blah, blah. And SmackDown as well. Now, this was a very ho-hum show. It was that way last year, I believe, as well, 2 years ago. I don't remember much about the post-WrestleMania SmackDown, aside from the Hardy Boys winning the SmackDown Tag Team titles. And then 3 years ago, I think 3 years ago was a bigger show. The Iconics debuted. They had Carmella cash in and win the SmackDown Women's Championship. Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles, maybe. So that was a pretty decent show. But this was not a very good post-WrestleMania SmackDown at all. So if you were expecting surprises or a return or a debut or something, we didn't get that whatsoever. We had one very cool focal point, and that was Cesaro. That was easily the best part about this show. So Roman Reigns opened the show with Paul Heyman, with Jey Uso, talking about his dominant win at WrestleMania. I was very much expecting, to be honest with you, to see Edge come out or Daniel Bryan, probably Edge. Because there was a lot of talk coming out of Mania that, oh, Edge technically pinned Daniel Bryan because he was on top of him. It was a stack pin. It's like, no, Edge's shoulders were down too. So honestly, I'm very glad they didn't go down that route because, yeah, Edge was kind of screwed in that he was owed a one-on-one opportunity. Bryan has now lost 3 fucking times. Whether he was screwed or not, he lost 3 times. It's time to move on. So Edge was not on the show. Daniel Bryan was not on the show. And honestly, I'm okay with that. If they can kind of branch off and do their own thing in their own feud, I am totally okay with that. This is exactly what I wanted to happen. Edge and Bryan branch off and do their own feud. And then Roman Reigns moves on to his next challenger, that being Cesaro. So, yeah, I like where they're going with this. And with Edge and Roman, you can always go back to it down the road. But for Edge to claim conspiracy and do him and Roman right now just wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Because Edge probably isn't winning. If he wasn't going to win at WrestleMania, he was not going to win a fucking Backlash or whatever. And he's currently a heel, it seems. Or a tweener or whatever. So, I'm glad they're not doing that. And they're just moving on from that completely. And instead putting Cesaro in that spot. So Cesaro comes out, I'm thinking, oh shit, this is cool. He confronts Roman face-to-face for a very brief split second, and then that was it. The Roman and Heyman and Uso walked off. So yeah, I thought this was a very good segment. It was a great way to kick off the show. The rest of the show was good. Nothing else came close to being this good, but the Roman promos are always awesome. And the real test begins. Will Cesaro be able to hold his own on the microphone? He's cut some shaky promos on Talking Smack that weren't great, but you could tell they felt real. Now, will they give him that same type of freedom in the actual in the actual promos on SmackDown itself? I don't think so. How will he do with the scripted nature of the promos is the question. I don't know. So this is why I was excited to see him with Heyman, coincidentally enough, when he got paired with Heyman on the post-WrestleMania Raw 7 years ago. I was excited for that because I'm thinking, this is a perfect partnership, and then Heyman can talk for Cesaro, and then Cesaro can do the in-ring work, and then it quickly fell apart because WWE just never really gave it the creative attention it deserved. But yeah, and I hope they bring that up as well. They kind of referenced that in Talking Smack a few times, but they don't really bring up Talking Smack a whole lot on this show. We need to see more of that here on this show. The only real surprise, I guess, that we got on the show, aside from Cesaro stepping up to Roman, and he wanted an immediate match, he didn't get it. We got Cesaro and Jey Uso in the main event instead, which was good. Was the debut of a new commentator. No, not Samoa Joe, because he has since been released, unfortunately. I talked more about that on WrestleRant Radio on Thursday. There's a clip of it here on the channel if you want to check out my full complete thoughts on the releases from this past week. But no, it was not Samoa Joe, but rather it was Pat McAfee, who they referred to as a former NXT superstar, which makes me sad, meaning that his in-ring days are likely done for now. He can always wrestle again down the road, but he said in a WWE.com exclusive video that his body's just not in in-ring shape right now, so he's fully focused on being a commentator for WWE. But he's a welcome change. I don't hate Graves, but having Pat McAfee on the show, they've had Michael Cole and Corey Graves on the call since SmackDown moved to Fox a year and a half ago. And I think they're a better duo than what we get on Raw with the three-man booth. And I like Samoa Joe, but he's now gone. But Pat McAfee's a fresh voice. And I think, initially I wasn't a big fan of his, but he's got personality. Apparently, reportedly, they're not scripting him. They want to kind of let him be himself. What a fucking concept. Why can't we get more of that with the other commentators? Unless they're just not that good and they can't formulate opinions on their own. I don't know. I find that very hard to believe if true. But yeah, I think Pat McAfee did well. He didn't do a blowaway job, but I thought he did well, and he'll be a nice, refreshing voice on the show. Other people may not like him as much. He's too over the top. He's too much of a goof. I completely understand that because I felt the same way at one point. But, he's grown on me with his NXT work, and I think he's a welcome change to that commentary table on SmackDown. The first match on the show saw Rey Mysterio battle Otis, I guess because the Mysterios are still feuding with fucking Otis and Chad Gable. I have no idea why. They get no promo time, so why the fuck should anyone care? But Rey Mysterio beat Otis in 3 minutes, and it was fun while it lasted, and I liked the whole David versus Goliath dynamic about it, but this was way too short to be anything out of the ordinary. We had our first WrestleMania rematch on the show. We got one on Raw with Ripley and Asuka. We got one here on SmackDown with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Zayn recapped the events of WrestleMania, that Logan Paul got stunned, so it looks like Logan Paul's already done with the storyline, which is nice. It was short, sweet, straight to the point. They had a rematch here. Now, Owens and Zayn always work well together. I thought this was a very good match, as always, very entertaining. But why is the feud continuing? Now, my hope continues to be that the end game is the two reuniting, because Owens wants to bring back the old Sami Zayn. He's been talking a lot about that on Talking Smack and promos on WWE.com exclusive videos. So I'm hoping that him beating the shit out of Sami Zayn will restore the old Sami. That is my hope. Because if not, I'm not really sure where you go with this feud from here. Owens beat Zayn clean at WrestleMania. They had a rematch here that Owens also won by countout, and then he stunned him anyway afterwards. So it's like if he was going to lay him out, why not just have him beat Sami again? The conspiracy stuff feels like it's over with. So what more do you do? I would just team them right back up. And personally, I think the tag team division could use them. They're not doing anything else right now unless Owens goes after the Intercontinental Championship. And Zayn's already been there, done that. Then I would just put him in the tag team scene personally. Bianca Belair came out for her SmackDown Women's Championship victory celebration for Mania alongside the Street Profits, which I thought was cool. So got to celebrate with her husband. And I thought she cut a great promo. She came across like a real star. And she cut a good promo about herself being relatable and all this other stuff and whatever. So, I thought she cut a real good promo here, and this was the mic work that we need more of from Bianca on this show. And she's done well up to this point, but just in terms of, coming across as relatable and as a good babyface and not like arrogant or stuck up or whatever, I thought she did amazingly well here. And you could tell she's still on cloud 9 from winning the championship at WrestleMania. It was evident when I talked to her on Sunday for the interview that went up on Tuesday, but it was evident even here, 5-6 days later removed from WrestleMania. So I thought this was really good. It served as a nice segue into the SmackDown Tag Team title match between Dolph and Roode against the Street Profits. I was for sure expecting the title change here. The Profits already got their opportunity a week ago, that WrestleMania SmackDown show, which I did not do a review for. I just had no time. It was a good show. It was a great show, actually. So they did the 4-way tag team title match last week. The Profits lost. They may have even gotten pinned, actually, if I remember correctly. So why would they get another shot unless they were winning here? Well, they lost. And it was a good match, but these two teams have had so many fucking matches. Like, they had a match in October, they had a match in November, they had a match in December, a match in January, a match in... Oh my fucking God. Like, at a certain point, you gotta move on from this feud. They have literally been feuding for 6 months now. That is how long this shit has been going on for. Ziggler and Roode winning decisively here, and I like the Profits. They gotta move on to other challengers. If you want to keep the Profits in chase mode, fine, but they've already lost 2 different title opportunities. I'm ready to be done with this. Move the Mysterios into the title picture again, or Owens and Zayn are another team. Ziggler and Roode should be done with the Profits. This has got to be it. It was a very good match, but this has to be it for this fucking feud. My God. Natalya versus Shayna Baszler, who the fuck could possibly care? Honestly. I mean, there's just so much wrong about this. One, that Shayna lost. She is such a loser on the main roster. Two, the match was all of a few minutes. Who the hell could possibly care about this shit when they only get 3 minutes? I feel like the women's division, for as many cool moments as they get with like the main event of WrestleMania, with every step forward, the company takes like 2 steps back by giving them like 2 minutes on SmackDown. Now, I didn't really want to see an elongated version of this match just because I don't give 2 shits about Natalya, but still. Another thing wrong with this. Why is the feud still going? Natalya and Tamina, again, lost decisively at WrestleMania. Why the fuck are we still getting this feud? If only we had more teams. And listen, I was never the biggest Iconics fan, but at least they were a team. And just to fire them when you're doing the same feuds over and over makes absolutely no sense. You know? I don't understand it. And then Chelsea Green and Mickie James were building up their own storyline. That could have been interesting. They fired them too, so it's like I just don't get it. I just don't get it. So Natalya wins here. Again, I ask you, who cares? We get to the main event, Cesaro versus Jey Uso. And I forgot to mention too, Sasha Banks was interviewed backstage. She either said very little or just nothing at all. And then she just kind of walked off. So she's clearly pissed. I expect a full-blown heel turn from her. And you're probably asking yourself, well, I thought she was already a heel. No, she's not. I mean, she's been a babyface for the most part since the Bayley feud. So she was more of a tweener in my opinion, but they never really made her a full-fledged heel, even though she's unlikable as fuck as a character on these shows. But anyway, we got the main event, Cesaro versus Jey Uso. Good stuff here. Jey Uso's been consistently holding his own against everyone they put him in the main event with. Whether it's Edge or Daniel Bryan or Roman Reigns, Cesaro, Drew McIntyre, Shinsuke Nakamura. You name them, Jey Uso has faced them all and has held his own. Kevin Owens was another one. This was a good match that was unfortunately ended while Cesaro was doing the Cesaro swing via interference when Seth Rollins attacked. Now, I didn't mention this before, but they played at least 3 or 4 different replays of the UFO moves from Cesaro at WrestleMania. Holy fucking shit. Now, I assume the idea behind doing that was for Rollins. I figured as soon as I'm like, why are they still doing this? It was an amazing move, and I was there and I saw it. I'm like, holy shit, that was sexy. Like, that was an amazing move. But they quickly ruin anything that's good by continuing to shove it down our throats. And I knew as soon as I saw them doing that, I knew that they were doing it to get Rollins angry in storyline, so he would attack Cesaro, and that's exactly what happened. But it was still a very uneventful ending to the show. Cesaro and Rollins continuing their feud is fine. I don't know if we're getting Cesaro and Roman at the next pay-per-view or if this was just a roadblock and we are. I don't know. Oh my God, I knew what they were going for with the replays, but it was just absolute fucking overkill. Like, seriously, that was just unbelievable. So, man, that was bad. But yeah, no, the match was good. The match was good, and I'm fine with them doing another Cesaro-Rollins match because that Mania match was fucking great, but the replays were just terrible. As of this recording, SmackDown has done under 2 million viewers for this week, which is a terrible number. And SmackDown was a good show this week. They usually are a pretty good show, but that's an awful number. First show coming out of WrestleMania. Any show under 2 million viewers is not good for SmackDown. But their first show out of Mania does under 2 million. That's terrible. That is an awful number. There's no other way to paint it than that, so I don't know. But overall, again, this was a solid show. That was their grand ending to the show. Rollins attacking Cesaro. I mean, I thought as the post-WrestleMania show, I'm like, oh man, Jimmy Uso, like he might come back. And I saw the long hair and I'm like, oh shit, Jimmy Uso. Then I'm like, oh no, it's Seth Rollins. And I like Seth Rollins, but I'm like, I wanted more than that. The fact that I was hoping for a fucking Jimmy Uso, return here, and that would have been the big post-WrestleMania moment, is honestly sad that we've gotten to that point where nothing else can just top that. But I was hoping for Jimmy. I have no idea where the hell the guy is. I assume he's still hurt, but like, holy shit, the guy's been gone for a year now. How bad is that injury where he's still gone? I fucking hope he's still hurt. I hate to say that, but like, if he's healthy and he's been healthy and they just have nothing for him, they don't want to bring him back with the whole Roman and Uso shit, Jey Uso stuff, then that's very disappointing. But I hope he's still hurt. I assume he's still hurt, and that's why he's not on the show. There has to be a reason for it. But anyway, aside from the fact this was a very disappointing post-WrestleMania SmackDown, it was a solid show. I enjoyed it overall. I am all in on Cesaro and Roman. Cesaro being a featured face on the show, sign me the fuck up. That's awesome. So I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with that. Cesaro and Roman should be fucking sexy. That's going to be a great match. And, they just need more work in the tag team division. They need to build up more women's championship challengers because Bianca's a great champion, but she's beaten Banks. She's beaten Bayley. The Riot Squad mean nothing. Who else is there? Tamina sucks. Natalya, no thanks. She means nothing. So they need more fresh faces in that women's division. Oh, just call up Chelsea Gray. You can't do that either. What about, bring back Mickie James? Oh, wait, you can't do that too. I mean, I thought Samoa Joe would be on the show. All these people got fucking fired. I mean, that's complete bullshit. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this review. I appreciate you checking it out. Be sure to like the video if you're listening on YouTube, to comment on the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Hit the bell button as well to be notified every time a new video goes up. I appreciate your guys' support. And we'll be back very, very soon with more content. There is a lot of videos going up right now. There's a lot of shit I have to catch up on, including interviews and content and reviews, and just keep an eye out for all that shit. But if you haven't already, check out my interviews this past week with William Regal, Bianca Belair, Apollo Crews, and CM fucking Punk. Yes, the CM Punk that went up on Friday. A lot of good feedback on that one, so check it out. And another new interview coming tomorrow here to the channel. So again, if you're not already subscribed and hitting that bell button, what the hell are you waiting for? Do it right now. Have a great rest of your weekend, guys. Enjoy your week. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.